That key doesn't belong here.
They say ghosts are born from sorrow, not death. Mathew never believed that. He was a man of rhythm, logic, and the tangible world, a piano teacher known for his precision and lack of sentiment. To him, every note had purpose, every pause a pattern, and he scoffed at the notion of things that dwelled beyond the veil. So when he received a handwritten letter, elegant, perfumed, and sealed with wax, asking him to travel to the countryside to teach piano to a young woman named Kristina, he found it quaint, even romantic. The request came from a place called Gravemoor Manor, a name that felt plucked from a gothic novel, but Mathew didn't believe in stories. He should have. The mansion stood cloaked in ivy and silence, its towering spires reaching into the fog like bony fingers. Thunder rumbled in the distance as Mathew stepped out of the carriage, leather bag in hand. The iron gates groaned behind him, locking without a hand. At the door stood Mary, the caretaker and nanny, a woman in her 60s with eyes that held too many years. Her voice was calm but wary, as if she was already mourning him.
You are here for Miss Kristina. She's been looking forward to you,
she said softly. Inside, the manor was grand but suspended in decay, a place where time held its breath. Crystal chandeliers hung like frozen tears. Portraits lined the walls, their eyes following him. And in the heart of the house stood a grand piano, dustless, waiting. When Kristina entered, Mathew forgot how to breathe. She was otherworldly, not in a spectral way, but in how she moved, how her voice lingered like silk in the air. Her smile was soft, but her eyes were distant, like she was always listening to a melody no one else could hear. She said she wanted to learn piano again. That music helped her remember who she was. Mathew taught her, day after day, and as they played together, he began to fall, not just for her beauty, but for the ache in her, the sadness she carried like perfume. There was one other presence in the house, Carlos, Kristina's father, a tall, gaunt man with a voice like creaking wood. He rarely spoke, only watched, always watching. He disapproved of Mathew, of the music, of the laughter. His disdain filled the halls like smoke. But Mathew didn't care. Kristina's smile was worth it, until the house began to change. It started with cold drafts that moved against the wind. Then the piano played itself at night, Kristina's favorite nocturne echoing down the halls. Mathew heard footsteps in his room, whispers in the mirror. And then he saw Kristina's reflection move when she didn't. He touched her hand one evening. It felt like marble, cold, still. She smiled and said,
"Stay with me forever, Mathew."
It was Mary who told him. Tears welled in her tired eyes as she sat beside him near the fireplace and spoke the words that fractured his world.
Carlos is not a man anymore. And Kristina, she hasn't breathed in 10 years.
She told him everything. Carlos had imprisoned his daughter when he discovered she had fallen in love with a local stable boy. His twisted obsession, masked as fatherly control, turned violent. Kristina was locked in her room, bruised and broken, forbidden to speak of love. Mary, unable to bear the screams any longer, started the fire. She thought it would save Kristina, that it would free them both. But it was too late. The fire consumed Carlos and Kristina. Only Mary lived, cursed by regret. That night, Mathew tried to leave, but the house wouldn't let him. Kristina appeared in his room, eyes dark as storm clouds.
"You said you loved me. Then die with me."
Her voice echoing like 1,000 whispers. Carlos's shadow loomed in the hallway. The walls bled. The portrait screamed. The piano played itself, furious and endless. Mary dragged Mathew into the old servant tunnels. Her candle flickered with every heartbeat. Behind them, the manor howled. Kristina screamed in rage and sorrow, calling his name like a hymn of death. As they reached the edge of the forest, Mathew turned.
"Come with me, Mary."
I started this. I have to finish it. Go.
But she shook her head. She stepped back into the darkness. The gates closed. Mathew never returned to Gravemoor. He stopped playing, gave away his piano, moved to the city. But every now and then, in the silence between sleep and waking, he hears it. The soft whisper of Nocturne in B-flat minor, playing from nowhere. And sometimes, he dreams of her waiting by the piano, smiling, forever 17.